I would like to welcome you to the College of Arts Convocation ceremony this afternoon. The University of Guelph is honored by our graduates, and we take great pride in this convocation. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the proceedings today. The ceremonials used for conferring degrees have evolved over a millennium, and the gowns and hoods represent that history. In general, the gowns for the baccalaureate and the magisteriate degrees are black, and the color of the hood is different from each degree program. The doctorates at the University of Guelph have a bright blue gown, and the honorary degrees are red. The University of Guelph crest, as you can see on the curtains behind me, and shown on the cover of the convocation program, also represents our specific history. The emblems in the crest show links with the royal city of Guelph through the white stallion above, the connection to liberal arts through the book, and to the sciences through the astrolabe, and our connection to abundance and agriculture through the cornucopia. The University of Guelph motto, Rerum cognoscere cosas, is a quote from Virgil. It is variously translated to either be, happy is the one who is able to ascertain the reason of things, or perhaps to know the meaning of things. The procession of people into the hall are also influenced by ancient tradition. The piper will herald the start of the procession of graduands, the students who are coming to graduate today. This will be followed by the arrival of the mace, leading the platform party. The mace is a symbol of authority of the university and will be carried by the beadle. In medieval universities, a beadle was chosen by the instructor to work as an assistant. Today, the beadle is the ceremonial officer of state. Following the beadle and mace is the chancellor and president, members of the administration and the honorees, fellows of the university, members of the board and senate, and members of faculty and staff. The degrees will be conferred in the order that you see in your program. The degrees are separated by categories representing the specific degree being awarded within the college. We will begin with the doctorates and the magisteriates, followed by the baccalaureate degrees. The name reader will present the scholars to the chancellor and president by degree category. As the name of each student is called, the beadle will place the hood over the recipient's shoulders. This moment will be videoed, and technology willing, there will be a simultaneous live cast of the event to follow and allow family members and friends to watch from a distance. The president will greet each student at center stage, and a photograph will be taken. We understand the joy and excitement accompanying such an auspicious event, but we ask that you hold your applause until after each group of graduates has crossed the stage. There will be an opportunity for a truly thunderous applause. Once all the degrees are conferred and the cheers are cheered, the chancellor will close the ceremony and a recessional will play. Please remain standing during the recessional until all of the platform party has crossed out of the hall. Our colleagues from the Alumni Affairs are hosting a social media program developed especially for convocation. Please share your photos, memories, and advice with graduating students by joining us on social media and using the hashtag GuelphGrad. Finally, may I be the first person to congratulate the graduands on their various successes and offer my congratulations to the family and friends who are here to support them. Welcome to the convocation at the University of Guelph.
rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let us pause for a moment and reflect with our whole selves on our unique journeys, our distinct callings, and our place in this complex and mysterious world. In this moment, we acknowledge the Attawandaron people on whose traditional territory the University of Guelph now stands. We offer our respect to their Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Métis neighbors. We remember that the world as we experience it is not the world as it has always been. Furthermore, it is not the world as it must always be. In this moment, we give thanks for those friendships that have blessed us over the course of our studies. We are grateful to those who have supported us and held us up, for the journey has been long and the traveling hard. I invite you now to embrace a short silence, and in your own way, be it through prayer or remembrance or thoughtful affirming, recognize that for which you are grateful. And as we open ourselves to a new season of life, may the knowledge that we have attained here be coupled with wisdom, colored with compassion, and marked with humility. May we embrace each new opportunity in ways that honor creation, that foster community, and that defends the dignity of all people. And may the mystery of life and each new moment bring us laughter and delight as we seek to be agents of grace and peace and hope for this world. Amen. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. I am delighted to officially open this 2017 University of Guelph convocation ceremony and welcome everyone here. President Vaccarino, Chair of the Board of Governors, Kevin Golding, members of the board, honorary fellows, faculty and staff, family and friends of the graduates. Today, as we celebrate the achievements of our graduating students, I'd like to offer particular welcome to our convocation speaker, Monique DeVoe, who will be introduced to you shortly. My name is Martha Billis, and I have the honor of serving as Chancellor here at the University of Guelph. And what an honor it is to be here today, back at the University of Guelph, my alma mater. I think back to when I was in your shoes, proud to be a Mac Institute graduate and anxious to take on the next challenge around the corner. Problem is, we do not always know what is coming or how we're going to get there. Today, I want to instill in you a belief my dean, Margaret McCready, instilled in me years ago. She was full of advice, but most often said, Remember, ladies, you are Mac girls, and Mac girls can do anything. And she was right. I stand before you today to proudly and confidently tell you that the education I received here gave me the wherewithal to go out and strive beyond what I thought I was capable of. Since the days of its founding colleges, the University of Guelph has been a leader in practical education focused on the whole person. The university has fostered an environment that encourages its community of students to aim higher, to make things better, to be more productive, to turn preconceived notions on their head, to make a difference, to improve life. My education opened up doors and offered windows on the world I could not have imagined. Half a century later, those things are still happening here at this fantastic institution. Graduands, your windows are waiting. It's your turn. Your turn to make a difference and to improve life for ourselves and for others. I know you can do it because you are, after all, a University of Guelph graduate, and you can do anything. Good luck to you all. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Franco Vaccarino, and I have the honor and the great privilege of serving as the president and vice chancellor of this great university. Graduates, this is your big day. You've worked hard, you've persevered, and you've made it. Well done, well deserved. Congratulations. Think fast. Think fast. We've all heard that expression. You don't often hear anyone, though, tell you to think slow. But my main message today is twofold: think fast and think slow. As a psychologist and professor in the psychology department here at University of Guelph, I'm interested in cognitive science and neuroscience. And speaking to you as well as a parent of university-age children, I believe your minds are fundamentally different from those of your parents' generation. We see how you absorb information, how you interact with and through information technology. Young people are very, very good at coping with lots of information and shifting their attention in order to do so. Your brains have basically adapted to a very fast-paced world. Today we are navigating a river of knowledge, one that is growing larger and flowing faster all the time. New ideas come at us at an unprecedented pace. New innovations, new ways to connect the dots, new ways to understand the world. We need to process more information, more and more information, in the same amount of time. We need to think faster. We might call that fast thinking reactive thinking. Reactive thinking is a sort of tactical thinking. It's what helps a driver negotiate the twists and turns on the road from moment to moment. But of course, there's another kind of thinking. Reflective thinking, or slow thinking, takes a more strategic view, a broader view. Not that I'm suggesting that you think more slowly in the literal sense. It's really about a different kind of thought, a different way of thinking, a different channel from tactical or reactive. In our fast-paced world, universities are increasingly important places for both kinds of thinking. Reactive thinking, fast thinking, that addresses the now, but also reflective thinking that rises above the here and now and takes the long view and considers the broader context, to consider tomorrow, the day after. As students at the University of Guelph, you have benefited during the past few years from an environment that has challenged your own thinking. An environment that nurtures freedom of thought as well as expression of inquiry. an environment that promotes and supports openness to new ideas, one that invites varied perspectives on a problem or opportunity. We've tried to encourage you basically to exercise both reactive and reflective thinking. We've stressed the kind of thinking that enables you not just to provide the right answers, but importantly, also to ask the right questions. We've looked to nurture thinking that is disciplined and thinking that is interdisciplinary, that draws upon diverse experience, different points of view. That kind of thinking, I would say, is actually even more important in a world where the challenges and opportunities we face are larger and more complex than ever. Big problems and big opportunities need lots of minds thinking together on solutions. And this is another, I think, important point. Lots of minds working together on solutions. And these are not just like minds that we need, but unlike minds. Minds from varied perspectives, different backgrounds. You know, there's a proverb that goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You're about to explore and discover the next phase of your lives, including, I hope, finding ways to improve life for others around you and in the wider world. So go together, think fast, and think slow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I am pleased to invite Monique DeVoe, Professor and Canada Research Chair in Ethics and Global Social Change, to give the convocation address. Monique.
Thank you, Chancellor Billis and President Vaccarino, and thank you, graduates. It's a great honor to share this day with you and your families and friends. Congratulations, you are about to join a small subgroup of Canadian society, those with arts degrees. You're not quite an endangered species, but not far off. Census data tells us that the humanities, liberal arts and sciences, and the visual and performing arts combined account for just 6% of university degrees in Canada. Now, no doubt you've been told once or twice that an arts degree is impractical, that it won't equip you with what you need to live and work in a science and tech-focused world. Those of you who are receiving the Bachelor of Arts and Sciences degree today may have avoided these expressions of skepticism and advice, I think. And those of you who are receiving a Master of Arts or a doctorate today, and there's a small group of you, on the other hand, I think you've probably been hearing that for a while. Am I right? Yeah? Well, I sympathize, believe me. My own discipline of philosophy is really the punching bag, usually. It's the joke line when people want to illustrate just how futile the humanities are supposed to be. A few years back, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the renowned astrophysicist and science superstar, was interviewed on the Nerdist podcast, which is a popular online broadcast. And upon hearing that the radio host had majored in philosophy, he immediately commented, "That can really mess you up." Now, that strikes me as untrue, but I am biased. I do know this, however. You've spent the last several years developing your powers of imagination, critical thought, your creative practice, and these skills and the habits of mind that you have cultivated will really serve you well. They're good tools for the slow thinking, that reflective deep thinking that President Vaccarino just discussed. Deep, careful thinking about ideas. How you think matters, not just to you, but to others. The poet Audre Lorde begins her essay, "Poetry is Not a Luxury," by observing this. She says, "The quality of light by which we scrutinize our lives has direct bearing upon the product which we live and upon the changes which we hope to bring about through those lives. It is within this light that we form those ideas by which we pursue our magic and make it realized." The humanities and the fine arts bring beauty into the world, yes, but as Lorde's words suggest, poets and playwrights, historians and musicians, filmmakers and philosophers, also bear witness to suffering and injustice. And when you do this, something small shifts. Some truth is uncovered, perhaps, a silenced voice may be heard. Think of what photographic archives and Indigenous-centered histories mean to survivors and descendants of the Indian residential school system. These artifacts and narratives and the cultural productions that flow from them educate non-Indigenous Canadians as well, and the world, about this violent chapter of our past and its present-day legacy. The public philosopher Martha Nussbaum published a book a few years back called Not for Profit: Why Democracy Needs the Humanities. And in it, she argues that we need the humanities and the arts precisely because they help us to cultivate the emotions and sentiments that vibrant democracies need. And she points in particular to empathy and respect. As she writes, democracy is built upon respect and concern, and these in turn are built upon the ability to see other people as human beings, not simply as objects. End quote. Storytelling, music, art, all of this can help us enter into other worlds or to bring other voices forward. But to truly hear and connect with these stories and lives requires something like empathy. Luckily, there are many and varied ways to develop empathy, but among these surely are the endeavors that you graduates have been engaged in: the study of history, of languages and literature, ethical reflection, fine and performing arts, and also sciences. The political theorist Hannah Arendt wrote that a humanistic education equips us to develop an enlarged mentality, which she thought was vital for citizenship in a diverse society. And she encouraged us to let our minds go visiting. That's her expression. You graduates, I think, are very well positioned to let your minds go visiting and to make a world committed to an enlarged mentality. Today, we're aware, or should be, that our social and political institutions must reflect the diversity of the society that we live in. Justice rightly demands this. As we work to build more inclusive universities and workplaces, houses of parliament, we will find that we need to call upon our capacities for empathy, concern, and respect. We can cultivate our ability to imagine, however fleetingly and imperfectly, what it's like to live other lives. The life of a Syrian migrant fleeing war, of a survivor of the residential school system. Closer to home, this year many of us at Guelph have begun to learn what it's like for a fellow student or colleague to suffer silently from mental illness. Now, empathy alone is not enough, of course, but without empathy, we can't begin to envision, much less to build, socially just institutions. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave a speech memorializing W.E.B. Du Bois, the scholar, thinker, and civil rights activist. This was at Carnegie Hall in 1968, a few months before King himself was assassinated. And he said of Du Bois that his, quote, greatest virtue was his committed empathy with all the oppressed and his divine dissatisfaction with all forms of injustice. So committed empathy in tandem with divine dissatisfaction in the face of injustice. That seems to get it just right. My work is on the ethical and political challenges facing liberal democracies like Canada. And without the social sciences, our knowledge about these issues would be greatly diminished. But it's really the humanities and the arts that have had the most impact on the public dialogue on these questions within Canada and other multicultural liberal societies. And that's because it's the voices from the arts that allow us to enter imaginatively and empathically into the experiences of others. The fine and performing arts, prose, humanities research, all of these things help us to enter other worlds. It helps us to connect with our own humanity and that of others. Without this ability, the problems that demand our urgent attention are too easily reduced to distant or even hypothetical scenarios. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson would agree with me. He's on record as saying that we should include training in empathy within our formal education system. What he may have overlooked is that it's already there in the arts and humanities. So, class of 2017, be proud of your decision to study a less immediately practical subject. And as you go out into the world, remember to keep cultivating your capacity for empathy and respect. Take good care of each other. Good luck and bon courage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. DeVoe, for that thought-provoking address. Now, graduates, this is the moment you've been waiting for. So I'm Provost and Vice President Academic of the University, and I have the great pleasure to ask you to please rise. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees, with all the rights, privileges, and the obligations appertaining thereto.
Will members of the graduating class please be seated?
Good afternoon. My name is Ben Bradshaw. As head, or at least administrative head of graduate studies at the University of Guelph, I'm doubly delighted to witness convocation today. Firstly, I'm delighted to see some of our 2,500 graduate students complete master's and doctoral degrees following what can constitute years of determined study and research. Secondly, I'm delighted by the thought that some of our newly completed undergrads might return to the university to complete a graduate degree with us. As such, I would love to lead a collective applause for each graduate. Unfortunately, I must exercise restraint and ask you similarly to hold your collective applause until after the presentation of each of the degree programs. Of course, if you wish to express your excitement in some audible manner as your graduate walks across the stage, we will not stand in your way. Indeed, we encourage you to do so. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Arts that they may be admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Ronald Allen East. Alice Marie Gilmer Glaze. Anne Elizabeth Vermaiden. Please join me in congratulating these three newly minted doctorates. Madam Chancellor and Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Arts that they may be admitted to the degree of Master of Arts. Nick Eckebrick Bridges. Evan Lloyd Cater. Thomas Frattaroli. Katrina Gale. Marissa Garrow. Alexandra Nicole Gasparino. Zhao Zhu Han. Azad Imranarad. Kimberly McDermott. Carly McClendon. Agnieszka Muenas. And Nicholas Van Exen. Please join me in congratulating these new scholars.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donald Bruce. I'm Dean of the College of Arts. I'm pleased to see so many family members and friends and relatives of our graduates today. Ben has already given you your instructions about applause, and we have had a few good hoots and hollers. I expect you to give us a few more as you see your graduate come across the stage and receive their degree. So let's move on. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Arts that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts honors. Bruce Vern Abbey with distinction. Okay. Madison Bailey Adams Peacock. Carly Elizabeth Angelo with distinction. Chris Avgi Apostolatos with distinction. Taylor Nicole Borland with distinction. Haley Marie Boyle. Okay. Nora Siglierov. Vanessa Chimino. Hazel Deborah. Okay. Amy Lynn Doyle with distinction. Okay. Lauren Rebecca Ibidia with distinction. Okay. Allison Nancy Ehrlich. Selena Ann Evangelista with distinction. Okay. Ashley Everett. Tamara Nicole Gedard. Leora Marina Gersman with distinction. Okay. Patrick James Gilmore. Ryan Joseph Goddard. Grace Ellen Smith Howard with distinction. Okay. Joshua Kiyoshi Imai with distinction. Okay. Robin Ann Jones. Samantha Jones. Emily Catherine May Keene. Devin Jean Kelly with distinction. Taylor Lynn Kidd. Shafan Dakota Keeley with distinction. Matthew Bryson Larter. Okay. Nathan Daniel Lahotsky with distinction. Zachary Galen Linthorne Shaw. Paige Michelle Matheson. Sonali Menendez, thank you. With distinction. Melissa Joy McCoo with distinction. Okay. Simon Edward Miles. Okay. Anthony David Miller. Okay. Emma Maroney with distinction. Okay. Carolyn Sarah O'Brien. Adam O'Donnell. Okay. Kian Christopher Patterson March. Rebecca Marie Pyra with distinction. Dakota Leona Rando Duke. Okay. Kaylin Jane Roots. Okay. Mm-hmm. Desiree Maria Elizabeth Schultz. Okay. Maude Stephanie with distinction. Sandosas Wasfi with distinction. Bonnie Lee Webb. Okay. Holly Elizabeth Wilkes. Marina Dawn Williams. Tessa Christiane Wolverkamp, with distinction. Let's congratulate the BA Honors Group. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Arts that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts General. Anna Christina Barker. Melissa Ann Chong Yan, with distinction. Miranda Dallin. Tara Goldsmith. Okay. Taylor Ann Gray. Okay. Lindsay Margaret Jackson. Okay. Jordan Murakami. Cleoniki Filipeos. Danielle Placenza. Okay. Laura Margaret Prince. Rachel Lynn Sawatsky. Kristen Nicole Schwegler. James Sharp. Okay. Michael Sean Watson. And let's congratulate this group for the BA General. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Arts that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Science honors. Maria Alexandru. Kristen Alexandra Allenson. Caitlin Emily Anderson. Laura Armstrong. Ben Carl Atterley with distinction. Okay. Christine Baker. Austin Laura Elise Barbara Baumeister. Sydney Ann Baxter. Kimberly Ann Beach. Tamika Lauren Bernhardt Lumley. Yeah, Boston. Taylor Cindy Bilodeau. Nova Jacqueline Bozanowski. Okay. Lori Nicole Keynes with distinction. Emily Jane Champagne. Monique Chan. Mimian Ho Cheng. Zhou Yi Shu. Alexander Taylor Belly Cumming. Laurel Marie Cheridart Deely. Matthew Duratney with distinction. Samantha Roshani Dharmasena. Jordan Alexandra Divok. Megan Martine Martins Doherty with distinction. Zaira Alexandra May Edwards. Megan Jean Gardner. Ariel Morgan Geis with distinction. Victoria Ganjanarain. Simone Carolyn Granieri with distinction. Okay. Felicity Halbert. Courtney Elizabeth Hatton. Shalini Hemalal with distinction. Sarah Herm. Safa Hannah Krantz with distinction. Okay. Andrea Catherine Larney with distinction. Melody Levine Lagasse. Yvonne Key Lee with distinction. Okay. Shane Jonah Lekurnik with distinction. Okay. Danielle Victoria McPherson with distinction. Okay. Daniel John McDonald. Okay. William Irvin Martin. Okay. Madison McLaren Milne Ives with distinction. Caitlin Jean Mitchell. Okay. Kathleen Barbara Nielsen. Okay. Morgan Robin Piggott with distinction. Okay. Okay. Kaylee Elizabeth Quinlan with distinction. Naila Anissa Ransumer. Matthew Brooke Renwick with distinction. Okay. Brittany Ann Salter. Clara Elizabeth Wright Sankey with distinction. Okay. Annalise Noel Shaw with distinction. Okay. Tamar Naomi Sims with distinction. Regina Marie Sinclair. Brianne Therese Stevens. Laura Kathleen Seco. Hello there. Okay. Liam Kelly Mahar Thompson with distinction. Okay. Jessie Alexandra Trevorrow. Okay. Sean Matthew Vicar with distinction. Okay. Rian Bisram. Okay. Sarah Ann Sharp Wilson with distinction. Alexis Dion Young. So let's congratulate the BS students and all of the graduates from the BA program.
May I just do a special announcement that today was the last convocation for Dean Don Bruce. I think it's 11 years, so 3 times a year. So well done. Thank you. On that both happy note and Madam Chancellor, I would ask you to confer the various and several degrees on the graduands listed in the program, but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduands not present.
Well, graduates, you did it. Congratulations. Terrific. Well, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the Griffin alumni family. This is a growing family. This week, more than 3,400 new graduates are joining that family. And you should know that University of Guelph alumni now number more than 125,000 graduates around the world. As you can imagine, we're all very, very proud of your accomplishments here at the University of Guelph and look forward to seeing how the foundations that you have developed here as a student will continue to support you in the future. We want to celebrate your achievements with you and as well as your successes, and do hope that you'll stay in touch. Remember that you're always, always welcome here. Graduates, you've made many memories here at the university, including today's ceremony. And remember this as well. You are a student for a short time, but you're a Griffin forever. Congratulations. So this concludes our formal convocation ceremony. The College Dean will host a reception for all graduates and their guests in Creelman Hall just next door. This really is an opportunity to mingle and offer congratulations to the graduates, and we do hope that you can attend. And now, as tradition will have it, the final word is from our Chancellor.
Convocation is dismissed.
Congratulations, everyone. We know that you're going to go out and do great things. We hope you'll come back and visit often. I've just got a couple things to ask you to help us prepare the hall for the next group of eager families waiting to see their students cross the stage. We're going to ask you to leave from the side doors here, students going first with their families after them. And we hope that you spend some time with your family, get great photos to mark this occasion. And then remember that the next students want to look as good as you do, so return your gowns and hoods to the tent outside. And one more time, you did it. Woo!